Hi, I'm Rebecca from ConquerBooks.com, and today we're talking about The Children of Red Peak, a cultish horror novel. I did give this copy of The Children of Red Peak for free. However, talk to the sample people at Costco. Just because I get it for free doesn't mean I'm going to like it. So I was excited to read this because it's about a cult. I kind of have a soft, dark spot in my heart for cultish books. And I was interested to read this book by Craig DiLouie, who I've never read before, even though he's a seasoned author, because I wanted to see how he handled the cult theme and whether it was dark fiction or dark fantasy. And that was one thing I couldn't really glean from the reviews as I tried to debate whether or not I wanted to read and review this. And I can say that overall, this is psychological horror with a light dose of dark fantasy. David, Deacon, and Beth live with a secret. They are the remaining survivors of the family, a Christian cult that demanded sacrifice from all members of the cult. Each thinks that they've found something to replace the family in their lives, whether it's meaning, career, or art. But when another survivor, Emily, commits suicide, they all begin to question how much control they really have over their lives, and more importantly, what actually happened in the last nights of the family. We get point of view chapters from all three characters, both in the present as well as in the past when they're living with the family. Now, the family is not your ordinary religious group. They have demanded that their members move to the forest and live in a commune. At first it seems very idyllic. They grow vegetables, they eat the vegetables, they go to church every day. You know, it's not really the life that maybe everybody wants, but for some of them it's working. But as the religious group gets more and more fanatical and as their leader gets more and more off kilter, strange things begin happening. So each of the children notices it happening slowly and these different changes, but they each also really believe in God and they really believe in their purpose as being part of the family. And that's why it takes them so long to see things for what they really are. This is a dark cult. Things go even further wrong when the religious leader demands that all of the members of the family move to the desert for the end of days. And they begin by constructing a very flimsy homestead for each family, and then they begin constructing a stairway up the side of a cliff. And each member of the family, each adult member, has to make some sort of sacrifice. And the children are more and more unnerved by what is happening. And it's like they can't reason, they can't get through to the adults, to their own parents. And they are concerned, but they're also in the middle of the desert. What are they going to do as kids? As adults, we really see the psychological impacts of being in the cult on each of these family members. David, I thought, was a very interesting character because he grows up to become a cult deprogrammer. So he meets with former members of cults or individuals who family members are trying to extract from a cult and talks them through the psychology, talks them through the process, tries to reason and use logic with them to question what they are doing and why they are allowing the cult to control their lives. Beth becomes a psychologist, and Deacon, who was always interested in music while in the family, he becomes a rock star. They're all trying to find meaning, they're all trying to build their lives, but they have big questions about what actually happened the last days that they were with the family. I thought that a lot of the writing was really interesting, especially the breakdown of each character's psychological state. For a long portion of the book, I actually thought that no fantastical elements were going to show up because it was doing such a thorough and good job of delving into what was going on in each character's mind and how they may have repressed memories or how they may have been part of a mass hallucination. So I was surprised when the fantastical elements did show up. The book also had an interesting underlying theme analyzing why we glorify cults, why we make them so famous, and what that sort of amplification does to people who may be susceptible to that sort of cult control. For me personally, I didn't find myself shaking in terror after reading the book. It just didn't really make me feel scared. I think that it didn't get my emotions up too high for two reasons. The first, that the opening was kind of slow. I think that Craig DiLouie could have started the story later on in more of the fast-paced part of the plot, but then also I thought that there was a lot of telling instead of showing. And normally I'm not really picky about that. I think that telling people who are reading your stuff is important so that they can figure out what's going on. But I would have liked to have seen more demented examples and more, juicy pieces to, I guess, titillate me. Overall, I think the book does a terrific job thinking about the psychology behind cults and why people join them and stay with them for so long, even in the midst of terrifying times. However, I don't think this is the book you want to pick up if you're looking to be truly scared. Thanks for following along. Don't forget to subscribe and check out more free content at conquerbooks.com. Bye!